From San Antonio's own Ken Spy, this is the News at 10.
It's hard to believe the devastation. Trees that are 100 years old just ripped out of the ground.
A presidential visit as we mark 1 week since powerful floodwaters devastated the Hill Country. Over 100 lives lost in the Hill Country alone, and the lives of many others forever changed.
Heavenly Father, we lift this town to you.
Tonight, a community gathering to remember the lives lost and the people who are still missing. The tragedy being felt across the state.
It's not just here that the hurt is felt, it's every part of the state. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, West Texas, East Texas.
But one thing is clear, there is plenty of help for the Hill Country.
We remain committed. We're here for the long run.
It was a night of tears, prayers, and powerful unity in Kerrville.
And tonight, the community is leaning on one another to grieve together. As we learned tonight, the catastrophic flooding in Kerr County has taken 103 lives. And at this hour, 161 people are still missing.
KENS 5's Alicia Nieves joins us live from tonight's vigil. Alicia?
The faces of the flood victims line the flower wall off Water Street. Take a closer look. We still have people dropping by at this hour, as they have throughout today, dropping off tokens of remembrance like stuffed animals, balloons, pieces of clothing, and it's glowing now in the candlelight thanks to the candles handed out at tonight's vigil. You know, you truly can feel the love from this community in every prayer and every flower.
I hope that they're all with the Lord.
In the heart of Kerrville, grief bloomed into a garden of remembrance. A flower wall lined with faces, young and old, each a life lost in the Hill Country flood.
I'm sad because all those people on the wall died.
The number of victims continues to grow, but tonight in Kerrville, no name went unspoken. No family grieved alone.
I like that everyone just come in. It doesn't matter if one of the family members is on the wall or not. They're coming to pray for all those people.
Green ribbons honored Camp Mystic. Churches from across the region joined hands. And therapy animals, including a goat and a high-energy pup named Chrissy, gave silent comfort.
So she doesn't solve a problem, but she brings a little joy and a smile at a time when it's often desperately needed.
2 miles away, another memorial built by Roberto Marquez.
It looks like we got as many crosses as the victims.
He set up crosses after the Uvalde shooting and the San Antonio migrant tragedy. He finds once he starts, he never builds alone.
And someone came, joined us, and then two more, and then finally it was a group of like, I don't know, 8, 10 people.
As he worked, families approached, some still searching, others simply needing to speak their grief out loud.
It's the most miraculous demonstration of unity we see within this community, recognizing that we're really joined in this sorrow and grief together.
Even as families mourn and search for answers, tonight reminded Kerrville they do not have to carry this pain alone. So this vigil was not just about remembering the lives lost, it was also about lifting each other up. Live in Kerrville, Alicia Nieves, KENS 5.
Such a moving tribute. Thank you, Alicia. Now to Weather Chief Bill Taylor in Ville, concerned tonight over a chance of heavy rain this weekend.
The last thing we want to see, ECs, is the chance of excessive rain in Kerr County, but that's exactly the potential over this weekend. Let's start with the radar tonight. We saw a few showers just a couple of hours ago die out in southern Bexar County. They got up to about Von Army, but didn't really make it much farther than Highway 90 or even Leon Valley, maybe a sprinkle. There was pretty decent rain earlier, especially Seguin this afternoon, about 4 to 5 p.m. Another good dose of showers for Atascosa County. They've had about 2 to 3 days of good rains this week. But as we've got a couple of factors I'll get into in about 10 minutes, this is the problem. The excessive rain outlook from the Severe Prediction Center puts a level 2 out of 4 chance of Kerrville, Bernie, Bandera, even Comfort getting excessive rain, which would lead to localized flooding in that region. So coming up, I'll put the models side by side and just show you exactly why we're looking at that excessive rain. chance and at least when it is most likely. Also, an incredible AI-generated animation of the river, the Guadalupe, when the flood hit. I've got all that coming up in about 10 minutes.
We'll see you then. Thanks so much, Bill. President Trump is in New Jersey tonight after touring the destruction in Kirk County today. He got a bird's eye view and an up-close look at the flooding aftermath. He also met with the families of those who have lost the loved ones. The president and first lady also stopped to praise first responders, like you see here, have been working nonstop. Then the two took part in a roundtable discussion. President Trump started by giving condolences and then talked about improving the state's early detection warning systems.
We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. We're going to look and see how can a thing like this, they could say it's a 100-year, somebody said it's a 500-year event. It doesn't, we're not going to let a thing like this happen again where it can wreak this kind of devastation.
First Lady Melania Trump also shared a special gift that she received from campers at Camp Mystic today.
They gave me this special bracelet from the camp in honor of all of the little girls that they lost their lives. So we are here to honor them and also to give the support, help, and I will be back.
We also learned a meeting will be held at the Hill Country Youth Event Center in about 3 weeks. Community members will be able to share their thoughts and concerns with state and local leaders.
I speak for probably everyone. It's been an emotional roller coaster.
That is U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin. He's credited for helping evacuate more than 160 Camp Mystic girls a week ago.
Well, tonight, he and his crew are giving us new insight on what they've gone through. KENS 5 reporter Megan Reina is live in Ingram tonight. And Megan, a week ago, we were live on the air, and you were right there seeing the work these crews were doing.
Yes, Henry, it was just down the road from where we're at the high school where those helicopters landed. Those girls got off shortly after. They were able to reunite with their parents. A week later, we're now seeing those green ribbons in honor of the Camp Mystic girls that did not survive. But for those first responders, including the Coast Guard, this was a mission that will stick with them forever.
We never thought this would happen in our lives.
From Corpus Christi to Kirk County, the Coast Guard was one of several agencies who answered a call for help on July 4th. Our cameras capturing the moment they successfully brought girls from Camp Mystic to safety at Ingram Tom Moore High School.
Yeah, so they were sad, upset, asking me where their family members were.
More than 700 girls were attending the camp in Hunt when the Guadalupe River started consuming the campsite. 27 campers and counselors, including the camp's director, died. But hundreds were saved.
And some of them were thrown out of windows to actually make it into the helicopter. So I think that's when it really hit me with the gravity of the situation that we were dealing with.
For rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin and flight mechanic Seth Reeves, this was their first mission, one that will stay with them forever.
We received a phone call and we talked to one of those little girls who, sat on the phone with us and thanked them for being here. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was not only listening to a small child that shouldn't have to know the horrors of a tragedy as this, but to thank us for something they really don't understand.
Pilot Ian Hopper recalls an interaction with a camper that stuck out to him, especially since he's a father.
I see she's got tears running down her face, and she's scared. Clearly, she may have just lost her sisters. She may have just lost her friends. And I turn around and I give her a thumbs up.
He says she gave him a thumbs up as well, along with a smile.
And at that moment, I knew that I wasn't just moving people from one place to another, but I felt like a dad that was rescuing my daughters, and that was.
And these four wanted to acknowledge there are many heroes in this story, from the camp counselors to the National Guard. Now, the last check that we got was that there was 5 campers and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic still unaccounted for. Reporting live from Ingram, Megan Reina, KENS 5.
Thank you, Megan. Families confirmed the deaths of 2 little girls who were at Camp Mystic when floodwaters hit. Among them is 8-year-old Kellyanne Lytle, daughter of Trinity football assistant coach Wade Lytle. In a statement today, Kellyanne's family described her as a, quote, shining light in this world, someone kind and fearless who was a loving friend to everyone. A spokesperson for jewelry company James Avery also confirmed the loss of a young family member at Camp Mystic. 8-year-old Renee Semestra just finished 2nd grade with straight A's.
The jewelry company founded in Kerrville pledged $1 million for recovery efforts. And of course, these stories do not get easy. Having to read them. Right now, there are more than 12,000 volunteers helping out in Kerr County.
One of those volunteers is lending his skills to the search efforts. Tonight, KENS 5 reporter Mike Jimenez is live in Kerrville with the story. Mike.
East's Henry. Don White is the Brush County deputy with the Brooks County Sheriff's Office. That's near the Rio Grande Valley. When the searches for the missing began, White decided to bring his experience and skills to Kerr County.
I search almost every day in Brooks County for, the missing migrants.
For Brooks County Brush Deputy Don White, search, rescue, and recovery operations are now instilled in his mind and body.
Also a recovery diver for 21 years, so there was about 150 water recoveries, including after the Wimberley flood.
White arrived in Kerr County on Saturday and says the devastation he has witnessed has been incredible, with debris piles 30 feet up in trees with rough terrain to search.
There's really no place to walk on the riverbanks, so you're sliding up and down, you're holding branches to keep out of the water, and sometimes you're walking in the water. Come here. Oh yeah, no, come here.
By his side has been his companion and cadaver dog Socks. Together they have searched to the point of exhaustion.
You just run down. Socks has been at it 5 days. She's tired. She doesn't want to search. All she wants to do is play stick and eat jerky.
But through their exhaustion, they trek on, hoping to provide closure to families.
When they find their loved one, they get a little bit of closure, but it's only a little bit. The immense hurt and grief is still there.
White didn't want to say how many recoveries he and Socks have made, but says there have been a few. Understanding for some, their closure may never come.
Yeah, there'll be people who'll never be recovered. You'll never find them. I've already talked to ranchers about what to look for in their areas that were flooded long term.
As a community, Kerr County is now forced to face that reality. White says many, including search and rescuers, are taking a deep breath and letting the emotion and hurt out.
Tough work. Keep your head up. If you need to reach out, reach out.
Now, White also became very emotional when I asked him about the incredible resources coming together here in Kerr County to help in the search and recovery operations, which he says will take months to complete. Reporting live here in Kerrville, Mike Jimenez, KENS 5.
Thank you, Mike. Hill Country Strong. That's the unifying message behind a growing number of yard signs. How they're also helping to raise funds for flood relief. Bill?
He sees a weekend forecast where excessive rain could be possible in the Texas Hill Country. We're going to go hour by hour, show you 2 computer models and the thinking on the timing. Next.
The city of Kerrville is expecting a large number of volunteers tomorrow for the search efforts. And if you plan to go out there, there are a few things to keep in mind. So you'll need to check in at the coordinated site at Tybee Antler Stadium. That's along Sidney Baker Street there in Kerrville. Check-in begins at 8 in the morning, but you must register in advance with Texas Community Recovery. We've got that sign-up link on our website at kens5.com.
Signs of support are popping up in the Hill Country. A Bernie business is behind the Hill Country Strong message. As sports anchor Nate Ryan tells us, the signs are also about giving back.
You're driving down the street. You see a small cardboard cutout. Sometimes you may not think much of it, but you travel down Main Street here in Bernie, you'll start to notice a common theme. Hill Country Strong. In fact, these are littered all over the hill country. It's the meaning of the message that one local franchise is trying to spread as quickly and as powerfully as they can.
So I grew up in Kerrville. I went to Ingram High School, class of 2005. Worked on the river out there in Hunt every summer at River and Resort. So right up the road from Camp Mystic. We wanted to do something. We wanted to help raise money. Printed a couple hundred signs, took them out to a few places in Bernie, and they were gone in seconds. Hundreds turned into thousands.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks. We actually reached out to our partners at Signorama across the country. They're helping kind of cover this because we can only print so many at a time. It's hill country strong, but it obviously extends past the hill country in Texas. Texans come together when they need to.
So when you drive down Main Street, seeing the signs, the color, you know that everybody is coming together. Even in Bernie, we weren't hit with the flood, but just the impact it has brought to the community in Kerrville and Comfort. We now have New Braunfels reaching out to us.
We're collecting zero money. We have a QR code that goes directly to the Community Foundation, so people donate directly to that. We just wanted to do our part to raise awareness and get people to donate.
Now, if you'd like to get your hands on one yourself, you can, of course, go into Signorama, or you can go to one of the designated sign pickup sites, like here at the Bernie Chamber of Commerce. At the pickup sites, you'll see these QR codes. Scan to donate. All proceeds from the QR codes go straight to the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. These lovely ladies in there just told me that as of this morning, the Community Foundation had raised over $30 million for flood relief. If that's not meaning of the message, I don't know what is. In Bernie, Nate Ryan, Hill Country Strong.
And tonight we're learning where the $30 million from the Kirk County Relief Fund will go. So today the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country reports that it will be giving out $5 million in grants to families, businesses, and first responders. And more than 20 nonprofits that have been in the Hill Country since the devastation will also receive grants. We have a link to the full breakdown of the recipients on our website at kins5.com.
Well, the King of Country announced today he's hosting a benefit concert to help flood victims.
The concert is later this month in Bernie, and he's teamed up with the nonprofit Vaqueros del Mar to hold an intimate dinner and concert. That will be on Sunday, July 27th. The lineup also includes William Beckman, Riley Green, Randy Hauser, Jamie Johnson, and several others. Proceeds will go directly to those affected by the flooding. Seating is limited, but we've got everything you need to know on how to get your tickets, of course, at kins5.com. Bill?
Entering an important weekend forecast as rain chances go up and the excessive rainfall outlook includes the Texas Hill Country, where 1 week ago today, catastrophic flooding occurred. This is going to be a really cool way to look at it in a sense of AI technology. This is the Guadalupe River. We're going to pull this up now, and I'm going to show you this animation of what it looked like. The model takes the location, the real-time extent, the severity of the flood, and then maps it using this flood mapping technology. And you can see those bursts from going severe to extreme flooding. That's going to be that color difference as it, again, begins there quiet, and then you can watch as it really balloons in some of those spots. That's where you saw the rise to about 30 feet in less than an hour. Incredible. All right, let's take a look at the San Antonio skyline on a Friday night. You can see right at the center of the screen the Tower of the Americas, the Frost Tower on the right side. We're going to take a look at the temperature right now at 84. We're still under the clouds and it's still a humid night, but with the winds going over 20 miles per hour, this truly is the most comfortable time of the day for a nice late night after dinner walk. 94 at Gonzales today, 95 at Floresville was the hot spot until you get down I-35 actually. 98's Pearsall, Cotulla, 97 Eagle Pass. Del Rio gets up to 96 and we stopped below average at 92 and there was some rain today. You know, east of the city is where we had some of the heaviest rain. You can see around Seguin. In fact, notice that we've got, again, just a couple of showers that made it into the city, but it was not much at all. As a matter of fact, if we take a look at rain totals, that light blue is 1/10 of an inch, maybe a quarter in some spots. But some rainfall estimates closer to an inch near Nixon, as well as south of Seguin. All right, so watch the precipitable water values increase tomorrow. increase on Sunday. A couple of waves of good water ready to rain. So all we need is daytime heating, a good little sea breeze energy, and here we go. So tomorrow morning will be dry, but then by afternoon heating, model says maybe a couple of downpours, but look what happens later as we get into the 4 a.m. hour Sunday. So this is after midnight into 4 a.m. Sunday. Very heavy rain from Del Rio up to Rock Springs, pushing in towards Kerrville, but collapsing on arrival. And then also the same for San Antonio. This is the 9 a.m. radar picture Sunday morning. And it really breaks up a lot of that rain early, then brings back some more in daytime heating. The second model I want to show you, the second opinion, if you will, brings it in a lot earlier. This is 8 p.m., 281 corridor. So Bernie up through Fredericksburg, even Johnson City with heavy rain. And then a little bit more develops, just not as widespread, not covering the same amount of area, a little bit smaller, but still about the same timing. So with those two forecasts lining up, this is the excessive rain outlook with San Antonio in a 1 out of 4. But look at this, starting at Fair Oaks Ranch and including Bernie, Comfort, Kerrville, a 2 out of 4 risk of seeing excessive rain Saturday night and into Sunday. So we'll keep a very close eye on it over the weekend, 14-day forecast. But as of now, no flood advisories, no flood watch in effect. Saturday to Sunday, 20 to 30% probability, 10% on Monday. So probability is not very high, obviously. We go into mid-90s as we get into mid-July, and then the third week. Here comes the heat. Upper 90s will be flirting with 100s starting Monday the 21st and for several days that week. We'll be right back.
Well, new audio tonight is giving us insight on what was happening in the critical first few hours of the devastating flooding last Friday.
KENS 5 spoke to an expert radio operator that heard those calls come in. In the early morning hours of July 4th, John Trollinger was dialed in. Around 3 a.m., he heard calls for help with rising water on the roads. Then came the calls for high water rescues. Responders continued to find flooding and people in the water. Then at 4:22, they asked the sheriff's office to send out a code red alert.
Is there any way we could send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4 standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Trollinger, who's also a former IT director for the county, says it's not unusual to require that kind of approval.
But that's protocol, basically, is what you're saying.
Right.
But the supervisor also needs to be there.
Someone needs to be on the phone to authorize it immediately.
Reports say the code red did not go out until over an hour after it was requested.
The San Antonio Zoo is stepping up as part of a special response unit headed to the Hill Country. The Zoological Disaster Response Rescue and Recovery Team, they've assisted during disasters like Hurricane Harvey. For now, their work will mostly focus on helping animals displaced by the flooding. Zoo officials say that they're now standing by for clearance to get into some of those areas hit hardest. We'll be right back. An update tonight, Pete Terry's announced it was able to raise over $150,000 through the generosity of the community. The Austin-based chain's 36 locations donated 100% of proceeds from Thursday's sales to flood relief efforts. This KENS 5 viewer video as from the Stone Oak location alone just shows how busy it was yesterday. A lot of long lines.
And we want to remind you that you can help support recovery efforts through our program, KENS Cares. Just scan the QR code on your screen to donate. Your donation will go directly to flood victims. Thanks to your generosity, KENS 5, along with our sister stations across the state, have raised more than $324,000 so far.
Wow.
A huge thank you.
You'd just love to see it.
And don't forget, KENS 5 Saturday morning starts at 8 a.m.
Have a great weekend and good night.